it's not a place where I'm being checked up on, but it is a place where I can check things out.
For me, the purpose of supervision is to invest in staff, to develop them.
It should be driven by the individual.
Supervision's got to be about hearing your staff.
To show them that they're valued, and a real space for me on a one-to-one level to say thank you and show my appreciation for all that they're doing.
Talking about my health and well-being, reflecting on cases, having space to prioritise.
If there are complicated issues within the interventions they're providing, then the supervisor can guide someone.
It can be fun, it can be nurturing.
A really important way of learning and reflecting.
If you seem to have a problem with something, it's exploring the reasons around it and trying to help you to adapt to it.
It gives you reassurance that there's a support network behind the person that's there in front of you.
Supervision is really important for helping people to share best practice and to pool ideas.
All of that directly translates to good patient care, good patient outcomes.
There are three main types of supervision.
We might need all three types of supervision. We might just need one of those types of supervision, depending on what type of work we do, what occupation we're in.
Clinical supervision to me is really the cornerstone of clinical, safe, effective care.
It's where we have the opportunity as a clinician to reflect on our work and plan the next steps in our clinical practice. If we're in a clinical occupation, then we need a minimum of an hour of clinical supervision per 4 weeks.
If you hold a clinical caseload, it gives you a safe space to be able to reflect.
We have an idea in caseload management that you talk about all of the people that you're seeing. So rather than just come into supervision and only focus on one person or 3 people, you talk about the whole breadth of the people that you're offering interventions to.
So everybody that we're working with needs to be talked about on a regular basis to ensure that there's a regular opportunity to discuss each of them.
So that we don't just focus on people that you might feel you're struggling with, but you're also talking about people that you're doing quite well with, or people that maybe you've naturally come to the end of the work.
And in particular, if we have any concerns about risk, about safeguarding, or about disengagement from the service.
And in my daughter's case, where she can't speak for herself because of the learning disabilities that she has, it's so important that practitioners read notes and discuss her case and talk about what's worked for them and what might be tried, because she can't say it for herself.
Professional supervision is where we meet, if required, with a senior member of our own professional group to ensure that we're able to meet the professional standards required for our specific area of practice. Professional supervision is required on a frequency that's as set by the head of our particular professional group.
Management supervision for me is looking at, I guess, the more practical things like making sure annual leave's booked in, reviewing any sickness.
Basically the one that everyone has, ensuring you're up to date with trust developments and policies.
If we're in a non-clinical occupation, then we need to have a minimum of 1 hour of management supervision every 6 weeks. We all need to have a supervision package, an agreement about what supervision we're going to be getting from whom and when.
Ensuring that all of your supervisory needs are met.
Within our supervision package, there's a number of elements that need to be covered, and we need to be clear where those are covered.
How all of those needs are going to be met, by whom, when, how frequent. And it needs to be realistic, in line with what the organisation can provide, and it should be reviewed at every appraisal.
My approach to everyone's supervision is quite different, but for me it's really important that they feel comfortable and they come in and they feel valued and they feel empowered, because that's a nice feeling for anyone.
Supervision is an interactive process.
And so it should never just be received passively.
Most of the time we'll try and take it off the board, so you've got that change of environment.
They come in and they're looking forward to it, and it's their chance to debrief and it's their chance to really think about them and feel invested in.
I do look forward to supervision. I even look forward to appraisals, because I think it's all about me, really. It's all about my learning, my development.
When we're supporting people that are working in a situation where they're using their own life experience in a work context, we have more supportive supervision to look after people's needs. That's really important for my colleagues who are peer trainers and peer support workers.
I think when you're working in the community, one of the other advantages of supervision is it's a chance to come together with somebody else and reflect on work that you're probably doing in isolation.
Because I work in the community, do a lot of lone working, sometimes it's just good to have someone to sort of discuss things if I'm not quite sure about something.
I really value that time of just reflecting, sort of taking stock of where I am. But I also really value the relationship with the supervisor.
Gets me really excited. I had a really touching supervision yesterday with someone. Just felt really exciting leaving that room, knowing that somebody had felt they were valued and did feel like they had lots of exciting ways they could improve the service user care, and I think that's priceless.
Last Friday I was just generally stressing about things, and I just gave my supervisor a ring, went and she said, like, you know, do this, this and that, and you'll be sort of sorted.
I think it's about saying I'm going to protect this time on the planner, so you're blocked out, I'm blocked out, I'm protecting this time because it's really important to me. This isn't something I'm just going to move on because something more important's come up. Actually, this is my priority, you're my priority, I want to invest in you.
Review it weekly, see where you're at, see if it's filling out okay, and we've really encouraged a kind of leader model. So if staff haven't had it booked in, then we'll get them to come and make sure they have booked it in, and there's that kind of equal responsibility for it rather than it just be the supervisor chasing someone around to come and get their supervision done.
I think it's really important to have an open and positive relationship with your supervisor where you feel respected and you feel you can share and that you can learn. Measuring how the supervision is going is one way of opening up that discussion and helping to build that relationship.
We'll always ensure that at the start of the supervision there is that time to just say, how are you?
And that's a really open question, so I don't need them to just talk about how things have been that day on shift, but actually how are they feeling as they come to work each day? How are they feeling by the end of the day? Is there anything going on in their personal lives that they want to bring to me that's impacting their work?
I think it's quite an important part of the supervision process is not just turning up and sitting down, but going in with an idea of what it is you want to talk about.
So I go in there with the attitude of, oh, I want this, this and this discussed in my sort of supervision. If you go in with that attitude, then I think you'll get a lot more out of it.
I've actually started putting my supervision in my diary, and then also a time for case notes about cases I've discussed in supervision.
We need to create a culture in all of our teams that actively promotes supervision.
The culture of sort of sharing and supporting one another.
So supervision makes an enormous difference to us if we're working in mental health services in whatever occupation, but it also makes an enormous difference to people who use our services. It makes a difference in three important ways. The first of these is it helps us all to be safe, that what we're doing is safe for the people using the service and for ourselves. The second way it makes a difference is it helps us be true to what works. It helps us to be as effective as we can be. The third way in which it makes an important difference is that it makes us all accountable for our work. It means that we're not making decisions in isolation. It means that we're able to draw on knowledge and experience from other people working in the service, and ensures that we're able to check out areas that we might be uncertain about in our practice.
It means that I feel valued. I feel there's a place for me just to be me and that I'm being put first.
Carers will also pick up on where someone isn't necessarily being supported. They can see the byproduct of good supervision.
When we're feeling well and supported and confident, we then invite that from other people, someone phoning in about their loved one and the care that's been received. If we hear on the other end someone who sounds as if they're in a good place, we then think, oh, we can share something with them. I think carers worry about everything from the point of view of the individual they're supporting, so they rely on good supervision of staff, good professional development, people who are on top of their job and feel really empowered to do a good job.
I always find it reassuring when you start the negotiation with your clinician that's going to be looking after you, that they reflect on the fact that they do have supervision and what that means. People that are looking after you are being looked after.
I view care as a battery. Your sort of care battery sort of gets depleted. Using supervision can help boost your energy levels back up again.
Supervision is a wonderful thing when done right.